The mixer can be found under the Devices menu. Depending on what version of CUBASE you have, or if you have Nuendo, you may see multiple mixers. This simply allows you to have a few mixers open at a time, displaying different things. For example, you could have one mixer showing inputs, one showing outputs, and another showing audio tracks. The mixer is basically divided up into 3 different sections: the inputs, the tracks, and then the outputs. You can hide and show everything. Let's hide the inputs, hide the audio tracks, and then hide the outputs. We have 2 other types of tracks here. We have group tracks here, we'll hide those, and effects channels, let's hide those. Now we have nothing. Let's bring it back to the way we had it by unhiding our tracks. Now we can move the 2 bars that divide the 3 sections of tracks. The inputs and the outputs can be added and removed through the VST Connections window, as explained beforehand. You can also reach the VST Connections window by pressing this button. The tracks found in this middle section are the tracks you create on the project page. Let's add a MIDI track on the project page. Then go back to our mixer. You can actually press this button here to get to the mixer. See that the MIDI track now appears in the mixer? Now let's hide the MIDI tracks for our mixer. You can create presets so that when you are hiding tracks and adjusting things, you can recall them. These presets are for the way things look. Don't get them confused with saving mixer settings like EQ and plugins. The mixer also has another 3 sections. They go from top to bottom. By pressing these buttons, I can show the basic mixer, which I actually can't get rid of, it's always shown, the extended mixer, and the input and output settings for each track. Let's go back to the way we had it. The record input for the track is set here, and the output is just below it. Let's add a group channel. The group channel allows you to group a whole bunch of tracks to one track, as in having a master fader for 8 drum tracks. Now let's assign one of the outputs of these channels to the group. Here's my outputs. There were some groups already created here. Here's the one I just made. Now this channel's output is going straight to my group, and then the group is going to our main output. Our main output happens to be called bus 1. That's not the best name for an output. Let's call it main out. Close this window, and you can see now the word appears at the top here. So once again, this audio track is going to my group. There it is there. And then my group is going to the main output. The input phase for the channel can be set here. This is really useful when you are dealing with input tracks. You could have 2 microphones coming in on a track, and one could be out of phase. Change the phase on input, and that way you can record it properly in phase. You can also have an extra gain stage to boost or decrease the track volume. You'll need to hold down Alt to make this knob turn though. It's set up like this so you won't change it accidentally. Below this are 2 small triangles on the left side that make the channel narrow or wide, and on the right side a single triangle. This allows you to make the channel a can hide channel. This means that I can mark this channel can hide, and then when I press this button, the can hide tracks are hidden. I use this all the time for virtual instruments that have too many outputs that I don't want to see. If the extended mixer button is on, then more options appear here. You can view various aspects about the channel in a larger, easier to see view. The panner is this line here. This allows you to move your audio around between your speakers, left and right and center. If you're having trouble getting it right back to center, hold down Control and click. The panner window allows you to see pan in 3 different ways, just by right-clicking on it. Stereo balanced power, stereo combined panner, and my favorite, stereo dual panner. Check out the manual for the differences between these 3, as it takes a little bit of explaining to understand all of them.